Ever since I was a young and I was into rapping 20 years later and I'm still here yapping. Guess I got so much to say, so I'm trying to educate all of us. I hope together we can elevate. Time flies and our life is moving so fast. What's the forecast? Good vibes to be broadcast. So come and chill with me as we let the bad vibes blow past. This is Shout Out Podcast.
Alright, let's get it started. Welcome to another episode of the Shout Out Podcast. Before we begin this one, I would like to just give a big shout out to the people who have been supporting this podcast, people who have been liking, commenting, subscribing. Thank you for your support. Do continue to stick with us on this journey of ours, and we really appreciate it. Today we have a special guest. She is the first female guest of the podcast. Hopefully the first among many. She is someone I look up to and respect. In fact, she's someone that a large majority of the youth, I think, look up to and respect as a role model. She is none other than the chair of the Governing Council and founder of YouthNet, Hekani. Welcome, Hekani. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Asalie, for having me.
Now, I know you've been really busy. When we were corresponding over like messages and all, you were letting me know that you were busy, which I get, but thanks for making the time. It means a lot. So you were here to inaugurate the new Youth Incubation Center.
Yes.
So thankfully, because of that, you could make time for this. Let's just start with, during it's been like over now 2 years, close to 2 years, the whole pandemic, the COVID situation. How have you been dealing with that personally, professionally? And also maybe like, what's the biggest takeaway from this whole situation?
Yeah, so personally, I think it was a good time for us to just, switch off from everything and connect with my family, my husband, my children, and everyone. So it was a good time. But yes, professionally, it was very challenging. But challenging not because we had nothing to do, but for us at YouthNet, we thought we should take advantage of this difficult time. And when people are really confused, people are frustrated with the whole, pandemic, why not take advantage of it and see what we also can do as an organization to help people. So I think that has been a driving force to do many things that we have not done in the past also. Yes.
Yeah, these are, something that we have never experienced in our life before, like this whole situation. So a lot of people have struggled with it. Some have overcome it and made the most out of this situation. But it's good to know that, you've been, you and your organization have been trying to do new things and working around it. I want to let you take us back to your childhood. Just tell us about like how it was growing up. You can add in like any funny stories, some interesting stories, and how was life for Hekani back in your day?
My father was in the army, and so I have two brothers, and I think my childhood, most of the time, my father traveled a lot, and we used to travel with him also. But eventually, he traveled a lot more, and so my mom decided to stay back in Dimapur and raise us in Dimapur. My mom and we lived in Dimapur. My dad was traveling.
So just once before you go further, till what year was this? Like
till class 10.
Till class 10, you were moving about.
No. Till class 10, I stayed in Dimapur.
Okay.
When I was little, I used to travel.
Okay.
But class 10, parents thought that we need some more stability in our lives, and that's how it happened after class 10. But childhood was traveling. It was fun. Not really. Honestly, I don't even know much about my childhood, but something very interesting. I keep on telling my mom and my family that I grew up in mandirs. Can you believe that? I've never been to a Sunday school. So that's something that's really interesting because army life.
Of course.
So Sunday is a time when I'm so excited, getting ready to go to the mandir and coming home with prasad and sharing it. That's the way I grew up. And so when I look at my life, I'm like, my God, I really did not even, I was not even raised with the word of God. Of course, like a Christian family, prayers and everything, but I've never been to Sunday school.
That's an interesting story. What about when you were younger, before you became like you got into your career? When you were younger in school days, what was something that you wanted to be, or like some of your? Okay, let's start with this. Who were some of your role models?
So, which part do you want to know? The funny part or the serious part? I don't.
Let's do both. Let's do both.
So everybody who knows me when I was in school and college knows that I am mad fan of Sanjay Dutt, okay? And they laugh at me now, but I was really, so
Okay.
role model was Sanjay Dutt, literally, like I used to eat, drink, sleep Sanjay Dutt,
Okay.
So that's
I
really
didn't see
fun.
that coming.
No,
but
yeah, but you wanted this to be something
Of
that,
course,
yeah,
of course.
that
Okay.
not many people know of, but yes, my contemporary know of that, but
Mm-hmm.
yes. So I had a very normal childhood actually.
Okay.
Just having fans and doing things in school, very nothing great, not even an exceptional student actually, just
Okay.
very, very average.
Were you here in Nagaland the whole time?
Till class 10.
Okay.
Yes.
And after that, your further studies, you got into law, right?
Yes, no, I went
So-
to Bangalore. I went to Bangalore to do my class 12.
Okay.
And then to Lady Sri Ram
Okay.
for my graduation.
All right.
After that, yes.
Okay. And that
yes.
was in the US, was it? Where?
My LLB was in Delhi University.
Okay.
So after Delhi University, I practiced for a year and a half or so, and then I started applying for my masters, and then I went to the US.
Oh, that was for your masters,
for
the
my
US.
master, my
Okay.
LLM.
Okay.
Huh.
All right. So just we'll go back a little bit again. Were you convinced and sure of yourself about wanting to become a lawyer?
No, not at all.
How did that happen then?
Yes, like every Naga child at that point of time, or even today, parents wanted me to sit for exams.
Of course.
Right? I also thought I was going to be sitting for exams till my graduation.
Okay.
Yeah. But then after I graduated, I thought, why not while you're preparing for civil service or whatever? But I joined the law school, Delhi University Law Faculty, and that sort of changed me. And after that, I really did not. I was very adamant that I'm not going to sit for exams. But my parents, especially my dad, he wanted me to the extent of filling up the forms. Every year the forms came out, he would be filling it up, you know. Yeah, it was that bad. But honestly, I'm so proud. I can say I never sat for exams.
I think, yes, that's something that a lot of Naga children have faced, that pressure of because of how high we put that on, the pedestal we put it on that job.
Yeah.
So it was accidental actually, that
Yes,
means, because you were
yes.
just doing that as a means to just do something else
Yes.
while you were preparing, and
Right.
you got into it. Okay. How was your experience in the US when you were doing your masters? How was that like, going abroad and living and learning?
Yeah. See, things are, when we say people are studying abroad now, it's so much easier because
Of course,
you have
of course.
technology, information, right? Even
Right,
applying
right.
for university, it's so much easier because
Definitely.
you have hundreds of information there, During our time, of course, internet had started, but early 2000, it was still like maximum was email. And we would write to the university in the US, and they would send the prospectus, and then we go through it, and it was a long process.
Procedure,
No?
yes.
Yeah, but because I had sort of defied my father, yeah, I wanted to prove to him that whatever I was going to be doing, I have to excel it and make him proud of what I've chosen.
Okay.
And for that, I had to make sure that yes, I knew in my mind, every young person is ambitious, of course, so everybody wants to be successful. I also thought I want to be successful in my law profession. But now how do you measure success? No? And that I thought, no, I need to get that extra additional degree from the US to get this done. And I had applied, and it's really expensive.
I'm
and
sure.
it's still expensive now then also.
Yes.
And somehow I convinced my dad to help me with the student's loan from State Bank of India.
Okay.
And that's how I went. I also got part scholarship, and somehow I managed. But US was, I don't know, it was a different experience altogether, definitely. But for someone who is financially struggling, like you don't even have enough to enjoy.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
So when
yes.
people are enjoying, I'm busy doing my odd jobs. Like I'm working in my school cafeteria, or waiting tables or something, just to make that extra dollar. Yeah.
I think like now that you mention it, it's clear that it was true, like hard work and your determination, that you really wanted to go there and that you did, and I think it's commendable. And I also think it's it's a big advantage for those who get the opportunity to go outside and study, do further studies, or whether it's coaching or training or anything. So it's something that I think a lot of Nagas should opt for, whether it's like studies or training or anything. When I feel is when you go outside, like you get a whole different experience, a whole different perspective. You get to see how like other people think also, and that's interesting. That you were there for how long total?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And after your masters were done, you came back immediately
No, I worked for some time.
in the US?
Yeah, when I was studying, I was interning at the UN headquarters in New York.
Okay. Oh, that was in US.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And after that also I was working with Amnesty International for some time. Yes.
How was that experience? I mean, interning, okay, but still, that's like the big organizations you just mentioned. So like,
so I was very overwhelmed with everything. And there was this whole the UN session was going on.
Right.
So we were trained to go and lobby with the government, and
that's so interesting.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Yeah.
Okay. And you coming back to India, you came back to Delhi, right?
Yeah.
And then you were practicing there for a while.
So what happened was, during this whole transition period, like I had come to India for a break, and then I get this offer from a law firm. And for a lawyer, being a partner of a law firm is the biggest.
Right.
Yeah, it was a small law firm, but I thought, why not? And my parents also, again, like typical Naga parents, they always want their children to be more nearer home. And I'm like, okay, I still want to go back home, but if this is a good opportunity, I want to grab it. And now that is when things also changed in my life, because when I came back, I was trying to pitch about my law firm to the Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Nifurio. He was the CM then as well. And that is how, again, my whole life changed. Yeah, so
which year was this roughly around?
2005.
2005. And so then we get to the, I guess, the main topic that we're going to talk about, which is the YouthNet.
Yes.
That was around the time of the inception of YouthNet.
Yes.
We were just talking about this earlier. Thank you. Like we were just talking about this earlier about like how I feel that a lot of Nagas, I mean, I guess the whole of Nagaland knows about YouthNet. They know about the programs like the Young Leaders Connect or this and that, but their knowledge is very shallow on what you guys really do or what the program really does. Who are the people behind it also, like, so I want to like just take our time and just get deep into it. Okay, so let's start with like the inception. How did the concept of YouthNet come about, and who were the initial people besides you as the founder?
Yeah. So 2005, when I met with the Chief Minister to pitch about our organization, about my law firm, that new law firm, and then he was talking about the unemployment issue and the frustration. And usually when you're sitting with the Chief Minister, you get on an official visit, you're getting just 10-15 minutes. You don't. That day, for whatever reason, I got the honor of hanging out with him for 1 hour. And all the time he was talking about the frustration, how much the government want to do for young people, but for so many reasons. And that incident changed my life, actually. Yeah. And then I thought, maybe I need to do something, I don't even know what I was worthy of, but I really thought maybe we should do something about it, talk about employment, address unemployment issues. That changed my life. And then I go back home and I think about it and I prayed about it. In between that, actually, Asalie, that now that we are talking about more personal things also. Before that, I had gone to a prayer center. And today, we have prayer centers everywhere. So young people are more privileged, to get more spiritual. Yeah. But during those days, prayer centers were very rare. And young people were even too scared to go near a pastor or forget a prayer center. But nevertheless, I had gone, and in the prayer after my 5-day fasting, the pastor had told me that your calling is something else. You're going to come back home and work for the people. That is before meeting the Chief Minister. Okay. And that really, shook me, because for me, I thought I'm never coming home. I really thought I'm not coming to Nagaland when I was a lawyer, right? See, I was everything that I used to think. I think only from the worldly perspective, and I was this young person who had just gone abroad, and the first to do a master's in the US. People had gone to the UK, but US not many for whatever reason. And I think till today I'm not too sure whether anyone's done LLM from the US. But with all this qualification, I thought I was really great, and like Nagaland, I'll never be able to fit into Nagaland. That was the concept I had. So after my prayer, your calling is, that is what it is showing. And I was like, my God, how can that be? And I go back to Delhi, I met the CM, and all these things are happening. Something that I had not thought of, but because of the discussion, so probably God was using that time, that moment, that 1 hour moment with our Chief Minister to even, talk to me in a very strange way. And then I decided to quit everything. I went back to him when these are all in Delhi, okay? I was already working in Delhi. I went back to him and I said, sir, I'm quitting, because I want to work for the young people. 3 months back, I had this conversation with you, and because of that conversation, I want to quit. He was a little taken aback. probably he's not and he said, no, if you want to work for the people, you have to be able to stand on your feet. First you have to have the foundation. Unless you're doing that, how can you help people? But I was like, no, so I'm determined. I'm quitting everything. I want to go back home, work for young people, and so I need your support. And he says, I need your moral support. That's what I told him. And he says, you forget my moral support, you have my full support, everything that you want, and I'll help you if this is the path you have chosen to help young people. And my life changed.
Okay, so this happened really fast then, like, because you were saying this happened in a matter of few months.
Matter of few months. Yes, the whole 2005 dramas were happening in my life.
Okay,
unknowingly, I say God was using.
That's an interesting story. I guess I'm not sure how many people know that. First time hearing it from me, but anyway, when it comes to the creation of YouthNet, because now you knew that you wanted to work for the young people, the unemployment problem.
Yes.
But how did the actual formation of YouthNet come about?
Yes.
Who were some of the people that you had around you at the initial part?
So I had to get the best people.
Right.
Okay. Now best people can be anything. Professionally, not people. When we talk about NGOs in Nagaland context, people think useless people, iku kuri bole nai, exam hui kena na pari kena NGO suru kore ase type of a concept. I wanted my NGO to be a very professional, but I had no experience as such, especially in the youth development sector. No experience running an own NGO, no experience, nothing. It's just the calling. I thought that was what I want to do, didn't happen. I got in touch with a couple of my friends. Okay. Kuchi,
yes,
Anato,
yes,
Alan, Angelica, and Lima, and Teja Meru.
Okay.
Yeah, and I told them, because they were my friends, and I have this vision. I want to do this, but I want you to help me. And all of them, again, consciously, I picked up privileged children, and I was attacked for that. They were all privileged children.
Yes.
And people started telling me, oh, there's this organization, YouthNet, and they're all privileged children. What NGO? All these privileged children, what would they know about NGOs, But for me, I was starting something new with a zero budget. Because I had a very heavy student loan, which I was still repaying, or rather, which my father was still repaying. And on top of that, I'm starting something new with a very big vision. If I was going to get someone who is like me, probably would have never taken off. But I told them, I will do all the work. It's just, we have to have one vision, in whatever we can do, because everyone has strengths. Everyone has our weaknesses, right?
Agreed.
So just bring your strength and support me, even if it's financially, just do it, because I need to start this organization and I need finances also. You have to help me for 2 years to set up this organization. After that, trust me with the work, with the credibility of the organization, it will just run on its own. But the first 2 years, you have to handhold me in whatever. So the first 2 years were like the time when we are having small workshops, small programs. I have no money. Who's going to give me, right? That's when my co-founders would help with organizing, even getting us a cup of tea, or making sure that, so all those things, buying the computers, because we have to work on computers, so all those things. That's how the team helped me. Yeah.
So it officially was launched in which year?
2006. Yes.
Okay. So like you said, for the initial years, it was doing because I remember some of them, the small workshops here and there you're organizing, mostly based out of Kohima.
Yes.
And when was sort of like a big break, that moment sort of for YouthNet?
Yeah.
When did you feel that was?
So during that time, what happened was the Right to Information movement was all over the country. It was a new act that was had just come into being, and I had a friend in Delhi who wanted me to do an awareness program on right to information in Nagaland, because they were moving to all the states, and they had to make sure that every citizen knew about right to information. And then he said, you have just started an organization, why don't you help us with the awareness program? And I said, I do not want to be an activist. I have not come back home to be an activist. I want to do cool things like, working with young people. But he convinced me by saying, you are planning to work on youth employment, livelihood, and the system. It's not, employment and livelihood is not a standalone. It's because it's a creation of the system.
Yes.
And because of that reason alone, you should let young people use this RTI as a tool to check corruption, accountability, transparency in the system. So, and that convinced me, because I kept on telling myself, this is just a tool. But that helped me to travel to all the 11 districts. Now we have Nagaland.
Yes.
But before it was 11 districts. So it helped me. That was the first step for me to go and understand what people were facing, the difficulties, grassroots. We were going to villages, we were going to, districts. And that was also one of the turning point. I mean, that was also one of the, for me to understand the people in general. In 2008, we did a youth consultation on employment. That was a big thing for us.
Okay.
Now, when we talk about consultation, many a time we have experts, seniors coming in and telling young people what they should do, right? Because it's a consultation. And
course.
young people don't have voice. But for us, it was youth consultation, which means young people will talk about their aspiration, will talk about their strengths, will talk about their weaknesses. And that under the Youth Employment Summit, it's a global initiative, and which was supported by the government of Nagaland. We decided to have the youth consultation in all the 11 districts. And I can say that program made me understand, I always say, the pulse of young people.
And how was the response of the youth? I mean, in all these 11 districts.
So it was
that?
amazing. That is why, all this while it was all programs, Dangor program, they'll all go, Choto program, and they'll go. But young people are always made to listen. It's only the people, older,
of
seniors,
course. It's
government.
just a one-way conversation.
Yes, but this was a platform where they were giving a chance, and it was a two days program each. And we were like, we're just facilitating. They were the ones who were talking, So that was such an eye-opening for them as well. And they were very excited, like, wow, we are getting this opportunity to actually speak about what we want.
2008 that was, right?
Yes, 2008.
Now, obviously, we know that YouthNet has a lot of programs, initiatives under the organization, like the whole. I want to discuss, like I said, even myself included, I know many of your programs, but when it comes to like what it really is and what you guys really do, I think a lot of the youth also don't know. Because they know the names, the titles and all that, but I want to go deep into that. So I want to start with Nagaland Job Center, because I feel that is one of the earlier ones, right? Nagaland Job Center. What was that what was the your motive and thinking behind that initiative, and how did it come about?
So like you rightly said, many people are still confused about what we do.
Right.
And the team, we also discuss a lot about how to position ourselves. Like the YouthNet as an organization, people know, but people are also confused. But for us, we always say we are not really issue specific. Like if it's not just about entrepreneurship. It's not just about construction worker, construction work. It's about everything and anything that young people want. Right? And so we are everywhere, and it doesn't matter, because at the end of everything is not about how much YouthNet has achieved or how beautiful YouthNet has positioned itself. That is also important. It's important for our own branding, but for us it's more about the moment, what young people want to do. And I think it was in 2012 when we started Nagaland Job Center, and Lezo Putsre, who was my former director, had just come back from the UK. In fact, YouthNet made him quit his job in the UK and come back to Nagaland also, and we started this initiative. Now Nagaland, what happens is there's so many people who are looking for jobs. Advertisements come out in local dailies, but again, we have to use different platforms to attract young people. It's not just about older people think that only in newspapers advertisements are given, because young people don't even read newspapers sometimes, So how best do we attract them? Then we thought it's important to have a recruitment agency where we are, which is win-win for both employees looking for jobs and employers, because it's both ways. It's both ways, right? Even people don't know where to look for jobs. They start up the company, and it's only the family members who are joining in. And then in business, when you bring family together and people that you know together, then the business has a big problem. So they also wanted to make sure that they are recruiting from a professional agency. So that way we thought, why don't we start having this database of young people who register with us, walk in, register with us. We also groom them. So technical skills we can't be giving them, right? But at least to a certain extent, the basic interview skills, how to write a resume, about 7 days or maybe 14 days training we give them, and that's how we connect job givers and job seekers.
Okay. Is there, do you have an idea of how many people are registered at present under the Nagaland Job Center?
Oh my God. That's, no. Really, I would not know.
But I think it'd be a big number. I mean, I've availed. I mean, I've luckily got some good employees out of. Through the Nagaland Job Center for some of my businesses.
Right.
So I know it's doing well. I just wanted to know, the numbers of how many people are. Because we know that unemployment is a big issue in Nagaland, but how many people do something about it? Something so simple like just registering with Nagaland Job Center.
No, but you have to understand, Asalie, it's a business. Okay,
Right,
so the organization as such is a non-profit organization, right? But we have various divisions, and they have to sustain.
Of course.
No one is going to do charity for us, right? Now the problem with Nagaland Job Center is also the challenges are we are not in control of the kids, of the people who have joined. And the mindset of young people are so different. Just because they have registered with us and trained under us for 7 days does not mean we have completely changed their mindset. So with so much trust, a company comes to us to recruit. They recruit because they think they're nice during the interview. But after that, after a month or 2 months, the kids have disappeared. Those young people. And the responsibility comes to us, no? So that division also keep on struggling, and if they have gone away for whatever reason, they have not performed well, then it's not going to be that boy or that girl ran away. It's like YouthNet job centers, we have to also make sure that those mechanisms are tightened. So there's it's a challenge and a struggle all the time.
Right. You mentioned that it was during this time when you got Lezo to quit his job in the UK and come to. So that's a lot of pull power to get someone. But one thing I've noticed is that you always have this knack of getting like very efficient people working in different parts of your organization. And what is the key behind that? I mean, how do you rope in such people?
Yes, I don't know, but I always say the strength of this organization is the team. And rightly said, some of the best people have been part of the team. In 15 years, people join, people leave. That's okay. That's part of the whole, the whole game. Yes, but we have been able to get really the team has been really good, and YouthNet is where it is because of the team.
Of course, of course. I totally agree with that. Can you just give us like some of the main people behind YouthNet right now? I mean, in the organizational setup of YouthNet.
At the moment?
Yeah, at the moment. Yeah.
At the moment, the director is Nune Chase.
Yes.
So when Lezo was number 1, Nune was number 2.
Okay.
So it's like we also make sure the core values. There are some core values for the organization, but we also make sure that every person is nurtured for leadership role, and that is very, very. That is why it is not too difficult. Everyone, imagine, all young people have their own aspirations, and they have their own, like I said, weaknesses and strengths, and coming together, working as a team. But there are certain things that we tell them that these are important values, and from day one they join, we say you are here, and you have to play the role of a leader. And that is how we have been nurturing second line, third line, to make sure that those things are in place. Today, we are 84.
That's a lot.
Yes, I know that's a lot for a non-profit organization. Maybe in a construction company, 1,000 also it's nothing, But for and they're all professionals, and we work with about, at the moment, we are currently working with about 5 departments.
Okay.
Yes.
All with the state government or
state government.
State government, right? Okay.
We also run a couple of central ministry programs.
Okay.
Yeah, but for the state government, about 5 of them.
Five different departments. Okay. So like you said, you have many divisions and many different initiatives under the YouthNet umbrella.
Yes.
So we've talked about Nagaland Job Center as one of the earlier ones. What would be your favorite part of
my favorite
YouthNet?
is my favorite.
We'll talk about that one
now currently, right?
Currently,
because 15 years we have done so many things,
course,
right? And once the program is over, it's a 2-year program, it's a 3-year program, we keep on closing. But currently my favorite is Made in Nagaland, Made in Nagaland Center, because I really believe in that. I believe that if Nagaland has to progress, it has to be through our own local economy, right? And before there are many other organizations that I truly respect and look up to, and people like Richard Bello and Nichite Dulo and Dr. Chingmak, three organizations, 3 of them are my favorite. And so they've also done their part in making sure that entrepreneurship is also imbibed in the minds of young people. 2013 we started this whole push for entrepreneurship. Yeah, and we started with a program called the Entrepreneur.
I remember
Right?
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and because in Nagaland, Asalie, entrepreneurship money, that's the last option. Everyone is sitting for government job till
Yes.
age limit, and by that time they're 35, 40, they want to start a business, and by that time it's too late. And for business, age is not a number. It's just that when you're older and you're trying to start something, the energy level is different comparing to someone who is early 20s. They're not afraid to fail. They're not afraid to take risks. They're not afraid to be adventurous. But by that time, you have done everything, sitting for exams, and you're almost lethargic, and you're starting a business, and the business is not taking off. So people think business kura to kam na thaka manui kori thake. And because there are no role models and success stories like that, parents also think ki karne business kore se. Useless people do business, no?
Yes.
So we wanted to make sure that there's a mindset change with that sector as well. And our first program, the Entrepreneur, I keep on telling this, but Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who incidentally is also just inducted to the ministry,
Yes.
as the Skill Development and Entrepreneurship Minister. So I'm really excited about that. But he's a friend, again, through one of our co-founders. So he was the one we tied up with. He has a venture capital company. He flew in his private jet to Dimapur. And he hung out with about 16 of them, I think.
The participants.
Yeah, the participants, and then he chose. Like the program was called "Who Will Rajiv Chandrasekhar Choose?" Right? And he gave a prize money and all those things. So the whole thing was to start making young people look up to entrepreneurship. So to glamorize entrepreneurship,
Right.
And now we in college level, in school levels, we travel to different parts of the state again. Then we realized that there was something lacking, and that's a platform to showcase our products. When people come and say, Nagaland, what do we have in Nagaland? And we're like, Nagaland is like, we're very talented people, and they want to see, and we don't know where to show them.
Right.
Few things here, there, maybe on Instagram or whatever, but really not a physical space.
Got it.
Yeah, so that's when we started Made in Nagaland Center, a physical space. We also wanted to be a physical space, but also B2B if people want.
Yes.
We also connect. But that is something that I'm really passionate about at this point of time, because that's where the products and the strengths of our entrepreneurs can be showcased.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the headquarters is in Kohima.
The center is in Kohima.
The center is in Kohima. You have one in Dimapur also, right? Maiden center or
no, we don't have.
That's just that's the
only
Okay.
That's the only center which is very near to the secretariat. So today that's also one of the must visit for visitors.
We it's
have
a beautiful place.
It's we need to do more. We need to get more entrepreneurs and more products. But yes, it's nice. People
and how many sort of businesses are associated with you through the Made in Nagaland?
Yeah, so we have about 120 who have registered.
That's a lot.
Yes, so it could be from a small earring to something more furniture or home furnishings, food items.
And I'd probably expect the majority of these 120 to be all young people.
Yes.
Leaning towards the younger side, right?
Leaning towards the younger side, but of course there's no age limit.
Okay, Made in Nagaland. Very interesting concept that I support fully. And I want to move on to the incubation centers.
Yes.
One you recently inaugurated in Dimapur.
Yes.
Let's start with that, the one that you just recently inaugurated.
Yes.
I mean,
so we have called it the YouthNet Incubation Center.
Yes.
Yes. Now, Nagaland, Startup India. Prime Minister Modi started the whole concept of Startup India, Stand Up India, Digital India, totally focusing on entrepreneurship, right? Government of Nagaland also adopted and came out with Startup Nagaland policy in 2019. So that is part of the policy. We read it somewhere. We had gone through the policy and we read it somewhere that there's a provision for setting up incubation centers. So we wrote to them and said, YouthNet wants to apply for it. So they were gracious enough to give one center to us. Now, why is incubation center different is this one. In the past, we have been doing a lot of entrepreneurship program.
Right.
And we have been getting good experts also actually. Some of the top branding consultant or marketing consultant who have been part of our past programs. This is something, entrepreneurship program is something that we've been doing for past 7-8 years. So it's nothing new. Now, why is this different is, our programs, we have the workshop and it's over and they all go away, and we never had a measuring mechanism. we don't know how much impact we have made to their businesses through our intervention. But this one is a 1-year hand-holding program.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have told them like, see, like how you go to the doctor and you tell them everything about your problem is you have to make sure you can't hide it. Like even financials, you have to share with us and it's confidential, right? But unless you help us with unless you
with the transparency,
yes, then it's very difficult, you know. And with that concept, the last 3 days was focusing on orientation. All of them have to be in one page. So about 15 of them, 17 registered, but only 15 made it to the 3 days orientation. But I think they're young, they have the energy, and we have really good mentors. Yes. So
I mean, this is something that I'm really interested in because I'm also a part of the Naga Tech entrepreneurs, which are working with the STPI.
Yes.
And they have their own incubation program going on also, right? So someone someone interested or someone who is an entrepreneur and looking at the YouthNet Incubation Center.
Yeah.
What are some of the things they would need to know about like trying to be a part of that program, your program?
So unfortunately, we have different cohorts.
Okay.
So for this cohort, it's 17 who have registered, and that's it.
Okay.
We don't take more people for 1 year.
I mean, that's 1 year program.
There's a 1 year program, you know, only for. But we have the center, which is it's a nice, fancy that will appeal to young people, and we want that to be accessible by any entrepreneur, any young people who want to have a space to work, because you know there's noise everywhere. You just want to like shut yourself out and work in a place where you're just in your own confines, so that your creativity juice and more other things can be focused on. So I think it is for our incubatees, but it is also open to any entrepreneur who want to come and just hang out and do their work.
Okay. So when is this first program finishing, and if someone is interested in maybe applying for the next, like you said, it's a 1 year program, right? The incubation center. So how should they be preparing for this?
Incubation center itself means it's someone with a new business, right? So not necessarily, not someone who already knows what they're going to do, right? We also are not taking at the ideation stage.
Okay.
It becomes difficult because there's a lot of difference between people who have just good ideas with comparing to people who have already done something on the ground. They understand the reality, no? So it's okay, no preparation, as long as, because for entrepreneurs it's just as long as you're passionate about something. Entrepreneurs are crazy people, right? They don't
supposed to be.
They don't have any rules and regulations. It's just that with their passion and hard work, they do what they do. So I think there is nothing like start preparing for it. If whatever you're doing, you're putting your heart and soul into it, and when you apply, you will think that you have that energy in you and there's potential for your business to grow, then they're welcome to join.
Okay. Another thing, you have so many things.
I know,
but we have to talk about all of them. I mean, I'm learning so much also. I know so much things about YouthNet, but I'm getting to learn them firsthand from the boss. The Young Leaders Connect.
Yes.
This is like, when you see the pictures, it's very powerful.
It is.
And I just want you to take us through, like, you know, how did you first think about this? I mean, like, where did the idea or inspiration come for this? And what are your goals behind, using Young Leaders Connect?
Yeah. So when we started our organization, the YouthNet, it was doing pretty good. And especially when people talk about non-profit organization, NGO, you would expect people, like I mentioned earlier, people who have failed starting an organization. But here in our case, it was like professionals coming and doing something, and so that also helped a little bit of branding, and on top of that, the work that we were doing. Friends from the Northeast, they wanted to start a similar chapter or a similar initiative in their own states, the other Northeastern states. For us, we said at this point of time, not possible for various reasons. But we also thought, why not? Like, if people are approaching us to do something, even if it's not a branch of YouthNet.
Oh, 1 second. They wanted to start in their own states a branch of YouthNet.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. They would ask us, come to Assam, come
and
to
set
Manipur.
up a YouthNet chapter in...
Yes.
Okay.
And no, you cannot, running an organization in another state is dealing Nagaland itself.
I know,
also,
I can just imagine.
We have not, So, but we said when people are having, giving us a good feedback and they're inviting us, we need to do something. Okay. That is when I thought maybe if we come up with a platform where it's not a regular office and an organization, but a platform to get all Northeastern people together. Baijung Bitia is a friend, Baijung. And at that point of time, we started this in 2011. We are 10 years now. So at that point of time, and even today to a certain extent, he is the youth icon for Northeast. So if it's anyone, I have to ask Baichung whether he thinks it's a good idea to do together. So he came on board. Nobody knows Hekani Jakhalu and YouthNet, right? In that way, like friends, maybe at that point of time. Now also, not much, but Baichung knows again, we have to make sure that we are branding and positioning ourselves well, right? So we got in touch with Baichung and we had a long chat, and he said, why not? But what do we do? That was the question that came up. Do we do charity work together? And how do we make ourselves visible? How do we connect ourselves? Best is get into a conclave mode where we have one annual conclave where we bring young leaders and achievers together in one platform, talk about Northeast, right? We have many programs where people organize programs like this, like the CII or FICI and all those things, but it's an event where people come, everybody talks and goes away and it's forgotten. But here we wanted to create a family, one voice. And there was no platform till then, and I think till now there's no platform like this. We also had to make sure that we have good, again, people on board to be founders and to be the core members. And then that's when Chief Minister Konrad Sangma and Minister Kiran Rijiju, Gaurav Gogoi and Sushmita Dey.
Definitely a star-studded lineup.
But interestingly, none of them were actually in this position before. Konrad Sangma is the chief minister. He was not a chief minister then. No, Kiran Rijiju, union minister now. He was not a minister then. Gaurav Gogoi was nobody. I mean, chief minister, son in Assam, but really not, not into politics. Yes. Monlu Mokikon, we keep on joking, like he was also not even in politics, and but really they were all beginners in their own political career as well. So a couple of years back, when we had the program in Meghalaya, Chief Minister Konrad had specifically mentioned that when we got together to form this one, none of us were in any important position, but after joining, so if you want to, become successful in politics, I think this is the platform you need to join. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's a big success story. I mean, so many people there. And then, So many things about YouthNet, but I think we should be moving on to some other topics also. I think I got a nice idea about YouthNet. Some went a little deeper, like some topics. But before we get into, again, some other serious issues, just one thing, just like you're a mother.
Yeah.
So just recently we were talking and you were saying how busy you are with life. Seems like it's all over the place. How much time are you committing to your professional career? And like how, sort of give us the ratio of how it's broken down, family life and personal life.
Ratio is very difficult. I feel very sad to be breaking down in numbers. But my first kid is YouthNet. Now you figure out. My children knows about it. My kids have accepted. They are only 6.5, but probably I believe they've accepted. And the most important, my husband has accepted. So I have a happy life. I have a happy life. Sometimes Alezo keeps on joking, because I'm always busy. I am so busy. So he also gets irritated because as a husband, I have to make sure that, other responsibilities.
Of course.
So sometimes very sarcastically, he'll joke with the kids and say, see, your mother has to save the world, so, it's just us who's been left behind. So let her just go and do whatever she wants to. Yes, but yes, my work is...
So, okay, fine. Obviously, we got a clear picture of that. But you do have some hobbies or some passions that you have to, have to unwind sometimes. And what are some of the things that you're interested in or besides your work? And when you have some time besides your family also, however small that may be.
I know, but I feel really bad to say this, but I love what I do, and it unwinds me.
I get that. I can totally get that.
But that is it. Like I'm like so happy when I'm at work. It's really bad. Like,
no, it's not.
It's a bad thing. Probably like it's like.
It's not actually a bad thing.
All these married men and young men must be thinking, oh my God, what? But really, jokes aside, my work keeps me happy. And even I know I need to have other entertainment,
but I think that's one of the reasons why you're so successful also, and your organization is doing so well, is because of your commitment it's cliche because a lot of the success stories, I mean, people when they talk about their success stories, they always talk about hard work and commitment and all.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time, but it's true, right?
It's true.
Without that, you're not gonna get anywhere, no matter
No.
what your talent.
No,
and,
absolutely.
Yeah. So,
And also, what no, I really want to credit my husband also. If I was here before marriage, I'm here because of him. You know, it's important to have a good partner who supports you and believes in what you're doing. That's very important. I know of many young friends who were young with me and who were exceptionally talented. Like I said, even in school or otherwise, I'm a very mediocre, right? In whatever I do, studies also mediocre, very mediocre person. And I see many young, those days, girls also who were super talented, but after they got married, you know, and of course, what is right, what is wrong is a different thing. It's about choice also, right? If you think your family is your priority, that's nothing wrong. If you think work, you know, as long as you know how to balance it, right? But I also feel bad because, I don't know, sometimes men are men also. I mean, this is you told me I can speak anything, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so sometimes,
Anything that
it's also, I
comfortable
know of, again, many husbands who sort of make sure that the talent of their wives are not taken forward.
Suppressed or,
yes,
little,
so that's,
I understand that it's not such a rare case too. Yeah. So getting into some topics that one specific that you mentioned that you want to talk about, and this is something that I think that almost every Naga always talks about also, but very few do something about it.
Yeah.
So which is corruption.
Yeah.
And I feel that they say like talking about is not enough, but using a public platform like this, however small it may be, but talking about it and for people to learn from people like you, the audience, whoever they may be listening, I think it helps a lot. It goes a long way to get them motivated to do something about it, to give them, you know, a broader perspective of what's really going on. And also, I want to hear like your in-depth take and opinion on, you know, the whole corruption mess that we're in right now in our state.
Yeah. So yes, everybody will agree we are in a mess. The right to information, that's when I got introduced to this whole thing, right? We were going from village to village talking about the different programs that was coming in and how it was really not reaching the beneficiary, and we could really see, you know, firsthand, you know, and that also took us to our clean election campaigns, right? Because we say in a very simple way that it's a vicious circle when you're using, because of the corrupt political election system, right?
Yes.
When you're spending crores of money, whoever wins, I cannot say her because obviously there's no woman, but his first priority is as a human being to make the money that recover, right? And especially if he was from his own pocket, maybe that's another thing, but he has taken loans and so many mortgages, land, house. So it's a vicious circle, you know, and then the election comes again, it's the whole thing.
Yeah, back to square one.
Exactly. So that is something that is really that really bothers me, the whole election system and the whole corruption system. And this time we were doing the the whole COVID pandemic lockdown. We also decided to get into relief work, and then we were traveling to about 45 villages in Dimapur, because Dimapur is very vulnerable, more than the others. Because of the border, you don't have really, So we were traveling, and then we could really see the poor, you know, people who are really needy. And then on the other hand, we also see people who are vulgarly wealthy, right? So there's
the disparities.
Yes, it's the vulgar display of wealth is shocking. And so definitely when we see a lot of young people who are really frustrated, especially in the social media. Anything, even if there's anything good, they can't even see things in a positive manner anymore. You know,
it's just that negative mindset is stuck now.
Totally, you know, and that is really, really painful. Sometimes we also get very frustrated, as in like, Naga manu kanti man, you know, there are also good things. Why can't we look at it good things? No, but if you put ourselves in their shoes, I mean, they have every reason to be so frustrated and angry, right? And so that is one thing that I'm really, really worried about. And that has to start with elections. And I keep on saying that. And we have been part of the whole election watch.
Okay.
Yes, the clean election
Yeah,
also, and the post-election watch.
Right.
How much money has been spent.
Yes, I remember your yes.
In 2008, that was our first election, post-election watch, in about 500 something crore, right? And 2013 election, it doubled up to 900 something crores. And in 2018 election, it was above 1,000 crore. I mean, in a small state like. It's a small state, right? With about 20 lakh people.
Right.
Now, if you are spending about 1,000 crore in 2 months, 3 months leading to election, I mean, it's insane, right? So that is something.
And before you go further, that election watch that it was done under YouthNet, right?
Yes.
Yes. How far do you think like the accuracy was with the numbers? Like personal opinion, because we know that
accuracy, see, in numbers pointing out and say 0.00 type of a thing accurate, we can't say, right? But to a certain extent, I would definitely say up to 75% accuracy is there. Because what we do is we have volunteers who go out and do this. We talk to that, if the first person would be the candidate, but of course the candidates are too busy. If they have won, they'll not say. If they have lost, they're so frustrated, they might say it. But the chief agent and people around them, we have a lot of other mechanisms to do this whole research. Apart from that, we also again cross-verify, cross-check type of a thing, because we don't want things to go wrong. But
that was a very interesting thing, because we always hear the stories about how much, and some people know firsthand also. But there's no sort of proof or analysis like what you guys did. So that was an interesting thing that you guys did. It opened up, I mean, people know about the system and how broken it is and how corrupt it is, but when you see numbers, So moving on with that, on that topic, like in regards to clean election, because like you said, the main problem is the system, the election system, and the vicious cycle with it, right? So with I had this Joel Naga on, and their party, the Rising People's Party, is also full on with the whole clean election campaign. They want to approach the elections in a along those lines, right? So I asked him this also, and I want to ask you the same question also, because who wouldn't want that, right? Who wouldn't want our politicians to be contesting without spending money like that, and on proper developmental agendas, you know, like our manifestos, right? And being realistic though, we've seen many cases of people who are like really good people that should be leaders, but they try to approach it in that way, the clean election way, and not go into the, you know, like the dirty system that's in place, and they failed, unfortunately, by some big margins. There's some cases, right? They've lost badly. So what do you think it is? Do you think it's the people that because obviously at the end of the day we are the decision makers, right? So what is the problem with this? Like why are these people not getting elected when everyone talks about the problem of corruption? Yet when people like that stand up for election and decide to do it the right way, why are they not getting selected? What's your whole opinion on this?
For me, past few days we were also having similar conversation with some friends, and leadership is important, Asalie, right? Yes, to what extent leadership is responsible, to what extent is the public that is responsible, those are very debatable, right? But the reason that you are a leader means that you have to change, you have to lead, you know. Unfortunately, and I don't know, this is on air, it's a public thing, but this is something that's been really frustrating me. It is not the public. Again, I say, yes, public also. Again, it's what came first, chicken or egg type of a situation. But still, the fact that you are a leader means that it is also your responsibility to bring about a change. It's not that, because when I spoke to some few politicians a couple of years back, some friends, they all say, see, when we were contesting elections, none of us contest elections so that we can become corrupt. That's what they said. But the system makes us like this. My question is, you know, if you are a leader, you have to be in the position, you cannot change the system from black to white, right? We understand it's a process, right? But we also have to make sure that we have responsible leaders who have to fight against the system, right? And not become system. we understand none of them stand for election because moi election jitishe kule to moi Nagaland la so poisa khai lobo. To be no hoy to ta can be. But once they join the system, I mean, come on.
It's almost inevitable that
that is why I think it's also the responsibility more than blaming the public, which is so much easier. 60 leaders, if you're talking about elections, 60 leaders, the rest are public. You can't be blaming the rest of public. The 60 of them will have to make sure that you put the system in place, right? And that is why I'm really sorry, but it's the leaders who have to, even if it's a small change, it has to be the leaders who's bringing about the change in whatever form.
So, I mean, I can't expect you to have all the answers also. But like, what would you think like the right direction would be to start going in that direction? What do you think we should be doing about it, or at least the leaders? If you could sort of, I'm not sure how many of them would be listening to this podcast, but if you had a chance to just tell them, frankly, like, what would sort of your advice be, or like suggestion,
see, good governance is very important. So, and now I think we have also educated leaders even in the Legislative Assembly. It's not that they don't know. You just have to make one extra. I know of leaders. I'm really sorry. Due respect to them. I know of educated people also. But once they are in the certain department, they're also more concerned about how to make money, right? But with their education and their experiences, right, it's about, first of all, just making sure that you're taking care of your constituency. There are funds that is coming in. Of course, because of pandemic and so many things, every time we go to the government, they say there's no money, there's no money, there's no money. I have been with this whole system for 15 years, Asalie, and till today, all I hear is government saying there's no money, and I have no idea because I'm not the government, but it's really frustrating. And there's so much that you can do actually. It's not that central government does not pump in money. For certain things maybe not, but there's so many other schemes. If these schemes are also implemented judiciously and in the right manner, right, at least a small step towards the positive change can take place, right? And so it is important that good governance is something that they have to keep in mind. And when I'm talking of good governance, I'm not talking about IT, making sure that the system is in place and it's good governance. No. In fact, why this good governance? Very interesting. The Young Leaders team had gone to meet Arun Jaitley when he was the finance minister. Right? So, like you said, powerful people, young leaders, and I was very excited to be one of them, to accompany them and go and meet the finance minister of the country. And we're talking about Northeast, and we asked him like, what do you have to say? What is the message to, the people of Northeast? And we were thinking some high funder things he'll give us, and we had gone with some proposal and stuff like that. He said, you have to work on your good governance. He's a very diplomatic person. He's a lawyer, right? So he's not going to say, you people are corrupted. But he was trying to say, see, it's not that we don't give you money. We dole out money. It's just that you people do not know how to utilize that money. So good governance is important, right?
True. Yeah. That's important. Definitely, I agree with that. But I was just, like, the thing I'm worried about is the election system, right? Yeah. Like, good governance will come post you winning or losing the election, right? But before you get into that position, you have to win the election first. And that's where the first, that's where the hurdle is. How do you achieve that in a clean way?
We still have 1.5 years. Or almost 2 years.
Year and a half,
if the leaders wants to still do something, they can still do it. Likewise, when I talk to young people and they come to me and talk about the future, prepare for the future. Many a times people come and tell young people, you have to prepare for your future, this and then, and young people are thinking like, you have to prepare from tomorrow. I always say the time is now. You have to start now. So likewise, it's not about waiting for another set of leaders to come and do it. We have good leaders, right? It's just that they need to put their house in order. So sorry to say. And it has to start now. And if you want to make a change now, it can still happen, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Not wait for 2023 elections.
Right. Okay. Let's come back all the way to where we started first from, and that's the YouthNet. I want, because like you said, you are so committed and dedicated and like married to your YouthNet. You're calling it a child, but whatever the relationship is, it's very close. Yeah, it's very close. So where do you see you and yourself and YouthNet in the future, long term, near, far future, 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
that is something when people ask me, I never have an answer. Honestly, okay? Because I say everything. I never expect that we will be where we are today, right? I'm not saying we are the most successful, but still I did not envision, because I keep on saying that this is not my dream, right? And I also say I'm not an ambitious person for myself, but I'm really, really ambitious for my people. And that is why 15 years I've grown old, right? Aspirations of young people are different every time, right? And so it has to be according to what their aspiration is. So tomorrow I may think like, this is what I want to do next year, but if a bunch of young people who have different aspirations think this is the way it should go, it goes that way. Definitely I don't know about the organization, but I'm happy people. When I say 1 lakh young people, we may have impacted, because we also have a little data where we are calculating and how many people have attended our advocacy program, our training programs. But yes, 15 years, more than 1 lakh people we have worked with, And,
that's amazing, by the way.
Yes. And then definitely if Nagaland wants to, if we want Nagaland to be positive and grow, it is these young people, right? And the other thing is, I keep on saying there's definitely has been a mindset change amongst young people, and that is very difficult to measure. And I will not say it is because of YouthNet that young people have changed their mind, right? I cannot even say that and prove it, but I know it, and I don't have to prove to anyone, because at the end of again, like I said, at the end of everything is not about where I have achieved or what I have become. It's what I want to see, and I can see that happening.
Definitely.
So even if people may hate YouthNet for whatever reason, like if YouthNet can do that, we can also do that. If that is also influencing them, I'm really happy. So that's the way, and wherever young people leads this organization, it will go.
I'm sure with you at the helm, and like I said, one thing that I appreciate of yours is your decision with the selection of the people that you bring into and like you said, the tier 1, 2, 3 of the leadership and how it's organized is very impressive. Just one thing I wanted to ask you about, because I'm heavily invested in the music and sports industry of our state, right? I mean, that's where I see myself heading, and my interest and my career lies also. So in that aspect, in those two fields, which I'm keenly interested in, what is YouthNet's take on those? Because you said it is for the youth in whatever field it may be and whatnot. So as far as I know, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but with that, those two, the fields of the music and sports, YouthNet has not done so much, like been heavily involved in those fields, right?
All, yes.
So I want to know what this semi sort of pitch also going on, but just what is there any plans or anything that you ever think about, even though it's maybe not materialized yet? Regarding these two fields? No, really,
we have not, and we will probably not even get into that period for the simple reason that we have TAFMA.
Right.
And it's no use, when we know that, of course, there's still so much to be done, right? But we have to focus in what we are good at. And when we know the music industry, especially the entertainment and music industry, is well taken care of by another institution, by an institution, I think we should let the experts handle that.
I mean that I agree with. But like you said, it's like it is a big task for TAFMA. At least they have like a task force for music. Sports does not have one, besides the department itself. But for the onus to lie on them, and there is whole responsibility of them to sort of. I keep saying like TAFMA, it's not their responsibility to create a thriving music industry in Nagaland. That onus falls on so many different stakeholders and party members, like people. So they can only do so much. They're there to assist and guide us. Obviously, that's there. But I feel like that. So that's why I was just asking. And in regards to sports, there is literally no task force. There's I feel there should be one, but there isn't one. And I genuinely feel there's like a lot of scope for like the youth in these two fields, sports and music. We are abundantly blessed with talents in both of them. Yet whether it's the infrastructure or the setup that's in place is just not helping the youth. So I would encourage you to, get a little creative on that, come up with some ideas.
Yeah, well, let's see. But as of now, like I said, we have not thought of it. But like I said earlier, it depends on what the aspiration of young people want.
Right.
So we'll figure out. But
definitely,
yes.
I'm putting this out there. I'm putting this out there because
yeah.
YouthNet is the organization for youth in Nagaland. I'm saying that genuinely. So I hope you can do something about that in the future. And you said we're not no one's going to listen to you for 1 hour. We've already crossed the 1 hour mark.
Yeah, so you please edit it so that you're not 1 hour. Like just give only like 20 minutes.
I think the conversation's been good so far. But anyway, what I like to do is like the wind up of I have a small segment and it's called the message. And we sign off on this, okay? So I want you to give 3 messages. The first message to your friends and family. You can name names or it can be a general message. The second message, I want it to be someone you've lost touch with, like a friend, an old classmate, or whoever it may be. Just use this platform to try and reach out to them and say whatever you want. And the third message is a message to just the Nagas in general.
Yeah.
Like we're just a small platform, but our goal is to grow big, obviously. Yeah. And just imagine that every Naga is listening to you right now. What would your message be? So those three messages, you can take your time and just frame them, and we'll sign off on that note.
So let me think. For my family first, and second is someone you have lost touch with. I don't even know who I've lost touch with. And
not someone. It doesn't have to be anyone specific.
Yeah.
It could be, but doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go.
So for my family, what can I say? Asalie, I am what I am because of their support. So thank you so much. I feel like I'm in an Oscar. Whatever.
Yes,
I'm trying to do this Oscar thing. Oh my God. Okay. This is the moment when I'm having to thank. No, but I'm really grateful to my husband, Alezo. Like I said earlier, if it were not for him, I'll never be in this position. And that is why I say, if married woman is doing well, you just have to make sure, you have to go and check who the husband is. The credit goes to him. And when Mary Com and I met, I hope I'm not just going out of
please,
yeah, but you can edit and do whatever.
Yeah,
okay. So when I met Mary Com, okay, and Alezo and the husband, all of us were in the same gathering, and that's when I was telling, I have to meet your husband because Mary Com is because of the husband. So that's how she called the husband. And then I was telling the same thing to the husband, and husband was, I want to see your husband. So I was like, Alezo, please come in, no type of a thing. But yes,
so
my
nice.
family, a supportive husband is so important, especially for women who are already married, having to juggle so many things. So and in initial years, I don't know how you're going to edit all these things.
Please,
so initial years, my parents, for 5 years or so, we worked out of their building without any rent. And on top of that, my father was paying off my student loan. My goodness, and everything, they were taking care of me. On top of that, not just me, but my team, tea, coffee, office space, this, that. So 5 years, they took care of me. So I'm extremely grateful to them. And my co-founders, message for people who I don't keep in touch every day, my co-founders, Anato, Kuchi, Tejameru, Angelica, Alan, and Limakam. They believed in what I wanted to do, and today, because of their sweat and their tolerance to me, today, whatever young people are benefiting, it's because of the seed that they sowed. So, wherever they are, may the force be with them, and may they always remember that they just did an amazing job by sowing that seed. To the Naga people or to young people?
To Naga people.
No, I want to talk to the young people.
Okay,
I want to talk to the young people, right?
Young people.
For all those young people who are just passing out of college or who does not have a job as of now and preparing for the world of the future of work. Don't think things will just happen. Don't think you can start working tomorrow. Don't wait for tomorrow. I always say the time is now. You have to start now. And the minute you listen to this podcast and it's over, I think you just need to start working on it. So always think it's now, tomorrow. Don't wait for tomorrow. That's it.
Beautiful message. Thank you so much. Shout out to all those people that she mentioned. Keep doing your thing, and we're all proud of you. And one thing,
Okay.
Now you got the whole feel of this, what this podcast was.
Now that you have got the feel, can we start all over again? No, now the real one will start.
I wanna just get your opinion on who would be someone that you'd like to hear on this podcast.
So many people, no?
But just someone that you'd be like, I hope you do watch the future podcast of this, okay?
Yes, I will now.
Not the entire 1 hour, but at least the snippets or something. But who would be someone that you'd be interested in hearing or having on this podcast?
Yeah. Young, old, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Any walk, spectrum of life, anything.
Pastor Kedo.
Pastor Kedo.
Yes.
Okay.
Because Pastor Kedo, just so you know, Pastor Kedo, right? He went to Yale, right? So he's seen the world. He's got the best education, right? And then he comes and he's trying to adjust with the whole, he already has this whole thing about the US and, the international global thing. And he's a modern pastor and he heads a church which has, of course, it's a modern church because the churchgoers are mostly younger people with more modern family. But the struggle that he must be going through, right? And he's young, and he's a pastor, and he can relate to both younger people and older people. I would love to hear Pastor Kedo.
I'll definitely try to make that happen. I think I can make that happen.
Yes.
But thank you so much, Hekani, for sparing your time to be with us, and I really appreciate you being here. Interesting conversation. I hope you can join us in the future sometime, whenever that may be also.
Yes, Asalie, thank you so much.
With that, we sign off. Thank you everyone for sticking with us on this journey. Thank you.